Hello and welcome to my first YouTube video. This is so exciting. I have been wanting to film a YouTube video for so long and now we're here. I know that BookTube is its own beast in itself and I'm so excited to start this journey. I've been watching booktubers for the past 3 years and to enter into this phase of bookstagram, book content, booktube. There are so many things about this that I can't wait to share. My reading journey, my diverse book recs, how it kind of intersects with my job as a therapist. There are just so many facets of reading books that mean so much to my life. And I'm really excited to be here. And the first thing that I wanted to start this journey with is this very exciting package that I got from Aardvark Book Club. I love that they put books on your radar that are from underrepresented voices and diverse authors, and I'm really excited to see what they chose for me. So let's open it up. What do we think is in here? I also sent them a list of genres that I enjoy reading, which are, if you are new to my content, are horror, thriller, literary fiction. I love Weird Girl Lit, which is like that mix of horror and fiction and literary fiction and, has kind of like that female rage underlying element to it. So, okay, let's see what we got. Ooh, think inside the box. Okay. The first book that is here is a book that I already have on my TBR and actually have on my Kindle. So I'm excited to have a physical of it. And that is An Arcane Inheritance. This is by a Black author. It is a dark academia fantasy. Arcane Inheritance by Kamilah. Our main character, Ellery, who is determined to prove that she belongs at Warren University, which is an Ivy League school whose history is deeply linked to occult rumors and dark secrets. So here comes the dark academia elements. As she settles into her freshman year, there's something about the buildings and the campus that feels strangely familiar. And as the days pass by, this feeling of deja vu grows for her. And despite all of her logic and all of the reason and all of the rules of reality, she knows one thing to be true, which is that she's been here before. And she can't convince her legacy student Hudson Graves to help her remember a past that seems determined to slip through her fingers, as if by some insidious magic. This time she may lose herself for good. So it's interesting. There's some like paranormal elements to this. I love dark academia and I love fantasy. It kind of reminds me of watching Wednesday, and this season is getting a little creepier and a little bit more like spooky and paranormal. So I don't know, that came to mind when I was reading this. So that's one book that I know I will read and love. And the second book in here is Isn't It Obvious by Rachel Runya Katz. Rachel Runya Katz is a contemporary romance writer who lives in Seattle. She has a PhD in biomedical engineering, and her books center queer Jews of color and their layered lives of joy, sadness, and love. She's also the author of Thank You for Sharing, Whenever You're Ready, and Isn't It Obvious? Isn't It Obvious has been on my radar for some time. The tagline is, after a meat disaster, a podcaster and her producer fall in love over email without realizing they know and hate each other in real life. I love books like this. I'm actually currently listening to Next Level by Shamiz Patel. Came out last month. And it's very similar in the sense of like they're talking to each other online because they're both huge video game players, but they don't know how their lives intersect in person. If I'm getting there, that's where I think it's going. I love that. I love that trope. It's very like You've Got Mail. I'm a big fan of that trope. Our main character is a high school librarian. Her name is Yael. She started a secret podcast and it starts to take off, and she decides to hire Kevin, a remote freelancer who's an editor and producer, so she can manage juggling her mental health, her day job, and the queer teen book club she's been hosting at school after hours. I love that mental health is represented in this. As I said, I'm a therapist, so I love mental health rep in books. To maintain her anonymity, they communicate strictly via email, and Kevin knows Yael only by her podcast persona, Al. Little does Yael know that Kevin, who in real life goes by his middle name, Ravi, is the same man she tore apart for climbing out of her bedroom window after a one-night stand with her roommate, Charlie, and she certainly never expects him to show up at volunteer at her book club. So this seems like a trope that I know and love. I love that she's a high school librarian. I love books about librarians. I also love that like she is a high school librarian, but also kind of exploring her passion project, which is a secret podcast that's blowing up. Love that for her. And I love that there's representation for mental health, representation through her queer book club. It just seems like very fun, flirty romance that has a lot of layers to it. And the last book that Aardvark sent me is one that I am so excited about. I have the audio to this and I've been dying to start it. I wanted to start it this month, but my TBR is just like getting away from me miles long, but I will definitely be reading it next month. This is Superfan by Jenny Tinghui. Superfan is about our freshman in college, Minnie. She is in college in Austin, Texas, and she discovers a boy band called Hourglass. And she starts to delve really deep into the online forums about Hourglass, the boy band. And she especially loves Halo, who's one of the members. She feels like he's edgy and feels very familiar to her. After a brief romance goes really poorly, Minnie pours everything into this new fandom, bonding with her other friends on the forum. And then a scandal starts to expose Halo, her favorite member. She decides that she's the only one who can save him. So as they're going through this, we're getting Halo's POV, and Halo seems to be harboring a deep, dark secret that kind of haunts him from his past before he became Halo. He was Eason, who was a high school dropout haunted by like a tragic accident that happened. I'm assuming that Minnie and Halo's pasts intertwine, but TBD, I guess we'll have to read and find out. Dazzling, entrancing, and deeply heartfelt. Superfan is about fandom in all its magic and terror and the extreme lengths to which we go to rid ourselves of loneliness. My friend Una, who's literally moody on Bookstagram, just read this and we were talking about it, and it seems like very up my alley. Kind of more along the weird girl lit that I was talking about. The unison of literary fiction with thriller and horror is something that I really enjoy and I read very often. It also reminds me of the book that I'm currently reading, which is Love Letters to a Serial Killer, in the sense that you become infatuated because of that loneliness that you're experiencing in your own life. You become infatuated with someone and kind of use them as an escape to get rid of that feeling that you're uncomfortable sitting with. So I'm very intrigued by that. Then, of course, Aardvark sent me the cutest bookmarks. The Aardvarks for my 3 books. The patterns. I also love how Aardvark makes their books so seamless. I love the covers. Like, you would never know that this is a monthly book membership until you look and see the little Aardvark. I love like a little sneak peek like that. Thank you to Aardvark for sending me these books. I think that they did such a good job at matching their monthly picks with my reading taste, and I appreciate that. I'll also leave a link in the description if you are interested in joining Aardvark Book Club. Maybe if you do join this month and pick any of these, leave some comments down below and we can read together. Follow me on Bookstagram and go on this reading journey with me. Thank you to Aardvark for sending me these. I'm so excited and can't wait to get into them. And thank you to you for watching my first YouTube video. I am really happy that you're here, and I'll see you in the next one.